So today the lecture is on political science. As is my style, and it should be the style of every student, that we must go to linguistic analysis. Each word or term, we should try to focus. And for that, I always recommend that you must have Merriam-Webster dictionary, especially the third college edition, because there is a difference between word and term. Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary, that is good for meanings, pronunciation, use of words, while Webster Dictionary, that is good to define terms. So we have two words here, political science. So we must focus on these two words first. And if we understand these two words, so maybe the whole concept of political science becomes easy for us to understand and then describe in our own words. Because the purpose is not knowledge, not reading books or notes. The purpose is understanding. When the knowledge becomes your slave, when you can do with the knowledge what you want, that is called understanding. In examinations, what is important? That is understanding. That is not knowledge. Look at the syllabus of political science, such a huge syllabus. But if you understand it, then it becomes easy for you, because in 3 hours you won't write each and everything what is asked in the syllabus. But you will be in a position to manipulate or play with the knowledge the way you want. So you will be not under stress, and you will be in a happy mood, and spirituality will give you strength, and then you will be able to counter this challenge of political science. Myself, I love political science because political science teaches you politics, and politics for paradigm shift in our society and in our life. Without politics, there is no way that we can bring real change. Education can bring change in human beings, but in the systems, in society as a whole, you need politics. And that's why political science is an interesting field. It is related to our day-to-day activities, and that is politics. Politics, the word is taken from polis, the Greek word city-state. So affairs of the city-state, what a state does, that is called politics. And science is organized or systematic knowledge. So political science means organized or systematic knowledge of politics. Now, what is politics? Politics can be on the state level, it can be in society level, or it can be in a family level. Even in peer groups, there is politics. Because politics mean that collective decisions taken when this decision or decisions influence each member of the group. For example, you can take an individual decision, I will wear this color of shirt. So this may not influence so many people. But politics is that body of decisions whose influence reach, the sphere of influence is larger to the whole state, to the whole society, and maybe to the world. One decision of Donald Trump in the United States, who is a politician, may influence the whole world. So politics is the body of decisions taken which may influence, which may impress upon each individual. So this is why politics is concerned with power, authority. The old term that was more authority, nowadays the word power is used, and the power may be hard power or soft power. So when we study power and its application on a larger basis, then that is called politics. Now, politics, as I said, maybe sometime, in our own language, jargon, we say you are doing politics with me, or don't do politics. Come on, be honest. Tell me what it is. So diplomacy, for example, that is a tool of politics. We are doing politics. When there is no yes and no, but you go in between because the influence is larger. If you take a decision on individual level, so that is easy to take. For example, what kind of breakfast I should have today in the morning. So this is a very simple decision. But political decisions are so difficult. That is exercising power. When you exercise the power by a prime minister or minister or president or parliament, so the influence is too large. That's why it is very important. And please try today, I would like to request you that politicians are very important people. We should love them. There is a general concept that we hate politicians. If there were no politicians, so there would be chaos. As anarchical theory is very important political theory, to control anarchy, we need politicians. And if those politicians, they are honest, dedicated people, so they are the most important actors in our society. More important than teachers, doctors, engineers, technologists, anybody. Because they provide the situation where collective decisions are taken and those decisions are implemented. Because the concept of power is basic concept in political science. Power means it must be implemented. A weak government, if it cannot implement its decisions, authority, power, so that is not considered to be a government. It must be powerful. If you have no power, you can't be politician. And you must have power, then you can do things. So politicians, please love them, guide them, ask them, be in touch with them. Politics are not bad people. They are very good people. They are running your state. Uh, Imagine there is no government just for one day. What will happen to a country? Chaos, big chaos. So if, for example, in a family, there is not one important member like father or mother is not there in a family, what will happen to that household? Such a big chaotic situation. So similarly, that will happen to a country. So we must be thankful to politicians that they are running our system. As corruption and absolute power corrupts absolutely, there should be checks and balances. And there come political theory. There come political philosophy, that how much power we should give to politicians, how much power they can exercise. There was a time that monarchy or dictatorship or tyranny, that was the rule. Only one man would decide the fate of millions. And then Greeks, they introduced democracy. From oligarchy, few people, and then democracy, each individual. And that depends on education. Because if each individual becomes conscious, a good decision maker on election day, so then this each individual can bring a big revolution. Because of education, each and every individual, because we have mind, we have behavior, and we have soul or we have body, so each one of us is educated formally, informally, or non-formally. So each individual has, some people say that no, it's few people should decide for us. No, each and every individual, that is the vicegerent, that is sovereign in itself. So this relationship between individual, society, state, government, the control of power, all these things are discussed in political theory or political ideology or political philosophy. These are interrelated concepts. Ideology, for example, what kind of ideology? Communism, Marxism, socialism, free market economy, because political economy is also part of the political science. International relations with small r, IR, small r's is part of political science. Public administration, that is part of political science. Public policy, that is part of political science. Public law, like constitutional law, criminal law, these are also part of political science, although these are in their own way disciplines. But you can't do politics without all these things. Is it a science or not? So there come the theory. Positivist and normativist are interpretivist, the people who interpret. So there are different two main schools. Positivists consider political decisions and polity or political situation to be like chemistry or physics. They say that human behavior that is predictable, that is verifiable. We can understand that a politician, there is a difference between political scientist who has the knowledge of politics and politician practices. The ideal situation that is of Plato, the philosopher king, that when you are both political scientist and politician. But if you are not, for example, Americanist, this is a terminology used in United States, that Americanist is a political scientist who advises the politician what to do and what not to do. For example, Donald Trump, he is a businessman. He is not a political scientist. So he needs political scientists or Americanists to tell him what to do and what not to do. Because each and every political scientist can't become a politician. This is an irony that if we have very few politicians who are also political scientists, because idealism, realism, pragmatism, these philosophies are, some people, they are so much good, excellent in theory, but they are very bad in practice. So the ideal situation, and I wish that in Pakistan and South Asia and other countries, developing world, if the political scientists are at the helm of affairs, or at least they are in touch with politicians, because the politicians who are practicing politics, they don't have such advisors who understand. And this political ideology or theory or philosophy, it is not useless, it's not futile, it has its utility. And that's why from the politics, the first book on politics was written by Aristotle. He explained that what a ruler should do. And then Republic of Plato. And then the first political scientist, that is Machiavelli, Niccolo Machiavelli, Italian, the prince. He is very notorious, but he was a realist. He gave advices to the prince, to the ruler, what he should do and what he should not do. So in interpretation theory of politics, they just interpret, they just describe what is going on or what should be going on. But in the positivist school, they treat political science to be an exact science. That's why it is called political science. And political science is a social science because it is with society. And in this society, we understand that factors, when these are combined, and in election time, parliament, executive, then judiciary and parliament, and this whole combination, then that is called government. Governance and government. We must try to define terms. Governance is the process, while government is the institution which governs. The action is called governance, while when you do it by the institution, then that is called government. And political science is a synonym of government. For example, you can say, what are you studying? Economics or government? So when you say government, it means it is a political science. So this relationship of individual with state is a very interesting thing to study. How much liberty an individual should have, and how much liberty the government should have, the state should have. So this is political theory. In dictatorial kind of theories, they say that the government should do everything, while in more democracy or more liberal approach to politics, individual is more like the government should only give you, like in United States or the developed world, government only provides you security, currency, foreign relations, international relations, which is part of the political science, and maybe some nuclear and other things. But every other activity is done by individuals. This is one. And the extreme of this is laissez-faire, where everything that is free, except very few things like communication, roads, and security, police system. That should be with the government. Otherwise, everything should be. While in communist, Marxist, What is communism? Communism is when there is no state, stateless society, when the people own everything, everybody owns the same thing. Even in Plato, wives should be also in communism. Everybody, there even the concept of marriage was discouraged. That was the extreme form. Everybody should do what they want, but that was not possible. That's why we must give some control and authority to the government. So this relationship is political theory, and it is very interesting how much you can have confidence in individuals. For example, in Canada, if a stop, I hear stories that the people at 2 a.m. in the morning, if there is some problem in the traffic light, so the people will stand there for 1 hour if it is red, if changes, but they won't cross it. 2 a.m. in the morning. And if we went to a park, and in 1 a.m. in the morning, we had a bag in our hand, and we were just looking for a dustbin in a camp in a forest, woods. So there was no police, but this is ingrained. So you can, trust in such individuals. There shouldn't be more force or more authority or more power. So then the political system is totally different in Canada. But if you are in North Korea, or you are, for example, in other places, so then it is, a different model. That depends that how much the people, they are rebellious. Now, for example, tell the Canadians, come out and protest on the streets. Nobody will come because they are satisfied. They are happy. It is a welfare state. One of the theory that is welfare state, and the other theory that is capability approach. And one capability approach means according to the capability of the person. Not that a person is just eating and drinking on the government expense. The person must have some capability, and according to their capability, the government must support. So this is capability approach. Rational choice approach, that each individual decides things, chooses things according to his own rational approach. So we must believe in the rationality. So again, this empiricism and rationalism and other theories, philosophies, that is very important for political science understanding also. This body of knowledge, eclectic approach. Why I am like speaking daily on one subject and another subject? I'm speaking on chemistry, and the other day I'm speaking on political science, and I'm speaking on religion and others. Why? Because I believe in eclecticism. Eclecticism means that you can get, things from different places, and you can make your own theory. So the human beings, they behave. Behaviorism is again an important political theory, that our behavior that can be predicted, and you can attach one thing to the other things, like constructivism, structuralism, construction, deconstruction, destructuralism. These are different theories. So when you understand the concept of structure, or you understand the concept of construction, and concept of idea, reality, pragmatism, so these things will become, I have given a list in the political political science group. If you read that list and those philosophers, so the things will become clearer to you. Then you will understand what I am saying, or what a political scientist is saying. So basic thing, that is your love, your understanding. If you take political science as a passion, you love it, and then you try to understand why, for example, in Pakistan, Imran Khan is doing, what Nawaz Sharif is doing, what Zardari is doing, why they are doing, the role of religion. For example, if you go to the political philosophy of Muslims, so there were two groups. One group was Mutazilite, and the other was Asharite. So Mutazilite, they were rationalist, reason, mind, intellect. That was more important for them. While for Asharites, authority taken from divine sources, revelation, Quran, Hadith, that is more important. So unfortunately, the Mutazilite school, that was like not that much powerful, and then the theology and the other people, they became more powerful. Although the same thing happened in Europe, church was so powerful, but later on they separated church from the politics. That is the famous secularism. That is a very professional approach, that everybody should do what that person is professional. If, for example, I'm an engineer, so I should do engineering work. I can't be a doctor. So a theologian or a religious expert can't be a political scientist at the same time. For example, the religious people, they claim that we should be judiciary, we should be executive, and we should be the legislature, and we should do everything. So that was, the Ottoman Empire, and that was the Ottoman Empire was destroyed. So this is a political, interesting theory, secularism and the role of religion. West, they are very clear. They have totally separated church from the state. While in some religious societies, it is still there that they combine religion with the politics, God with the human aspect. So this is a political theory. We should not feel shy to discuss such things. You may have argument that God should be in politics also. While they say that God is for your ethics, your morality, you should not bring in politics, because politics deal with the day-to-day affairs of the human beings. And in that affairs, ethics or morality may be important. While positivists and others, they think that, rational choice theory, that each individual is free what to choose, because we must trust in the wisdom and consciousness of each individual. If you trust the individual, then the political paradigm shift. That is totally a different approach. So, love political science. These things are very interesting. Ibn Khaldun, Muqaddimah, I read Muqaddimah, beautiful book, when he says that the government controls each and every act of justice, but not its own injustice. So that law, legality, and other things, that is so much important in the political approach of Ibn Khaldun, Ibn Farabi, and others. Aristotle, Hobbes, Rousseau, social contract theory, that is again, which I explained, the relationship between individual, society, state. What should be, and how should be this model? What should be the role of government and what should be the role of an individual? For example, in each family, we decide the roles. So similarly, in society, what the government should do and what should not do. For example, police officer cannot go inside your home. There are limits. If you commit a crime inside your home and that crime doesn't have, it may not be then a crime, but if it is its impact on other people, then yes, it is a crime. And then if you, for example, commit a murder inside a house, so automatically that is accountable. So this accountability, government must make the people accountable for their actions. How much? That is then, the question, the political theory, that how much should be these things. Constitution is a document which is very important in political science. The Magna Carta, that is the basis on which you define fundamental rights and human rights and different responsibilities. So each country has, this is called comparative politics, comparative political science, comparative study of politics, in which you compare the constitution of United States and constitution of another country. In United States, for example, the first three pillars: pursuit of happiness, liberty, and equality. Everybody is equal. Everybody has the right to pursue happiness and liberty, freedom and equality. So, from there you can understand. Now, in Pakistan, sovereignty belongs to God or Allah. Totally different, approaches. So we can compare. If you compare Iranian constitution, Chinese constitution, so that is such an interesting area. All these things you can discuss theoretically, and you can please look in your a politician when the politician is speaking. So the political theory, philosophy, and the real politics, what is going on there. In this introductory lecture, I just want to sensitize you that politics is very important, very interesting. Love politicians, guide them. They are very important people because they are setting our house in order. And if they are not doing it, we have the democratic right. A citizen must be politically conscious and active. Each and every person must take political participation in different activities. We must be the member of any party according to the ideology and the methodology that we love. according to the political science, read a basic book of political science, principles of political science, or sages of the ages to understand the political philosophy and ideology, and then participate. In United States, even the government officials, they are allowed to take part in politics. They have their own businesses, they have their own freedom. So the more you have freedom, the less then you have problems. When you crush the people freedoms, then this is again Kant and other political scientists, psychology, Sigmund Freud is also involved in politics. If you suppress the people, then the reaction that will be totally different. So all these things, even psychology is involved in political science. So the history, political theory, actual politics, what is going on, how they take decisions, legislation, the legislation process, acts. Legislation is very much important. If you don't do legislation, for example, in Pakistan People's Party, they are very good in legislation. They do a lot of legislation. They may not do some other good things. Muslim League, that is very good in construction, development, and other activities, action. While Tahrik Insaf, that is good in creating awareness and right of information. For example, they won't give you good schools or hospitals, but they will make the people responsible, and that approach of politics, then it has its own paradigm. That you are, for example, I am trying to make you aware of political science. Once you become aware of political science, then your approach that will be different. But if you are reading books and books of political science, then you will not. So this awareness, campaign, spending less money, but making the people more productive. That is another approach to politics. So study political parties is also part of political science. Which party does what? That is important. And how they do it. What is their ideology? What is their methodology? What they think and what they do. So a political scientist observe all these things. This is why political science is an observational science. They observe things. So please don't do or read political science only in books. Read it in society, in your house, in your office. There is politics. Politics may be good, politics may be bad. So you look at the people, how they take decisions, and how those decisions then influence our actions. This is politics. So read it, observe it, look into the eyes and actions of people, that how they provide the situation where the decision made have an impact on our behavior. This is very important, this relationship. Look at things. You can study, if you really observe politics and you are sitting in an examination of political science, you will come up with flying colors, because you understand the concept of politics. It is just not reading books and pages and making notes, and although that is important, but observe, look how the things happen, and then connect what happens to the theory, to the philosophy, and then you will be all right. This is my introductory lecture. We will continue. I love politics. This is one of my passion. I remained very active when I was student in politics, and politics give you confidence. Don't feel shy to discuss politics and political ideologies. Religion has its own importance, but politics and political science is a totally different discipline. You must feel free to discuss and support your ideology, and may become a critical thinker to oppose somebody else's ideology with valid arguments. Be critical thinker with creative approach, then you will be a good political scientist. Thank you.